water shortage due to this extreme heat in Sierra Leone here. So we are really, really struggling with extreme heat. At night, however, during the day and night, and people are struggling using an handkerchief, using different things just to get their opportunity of the wave, because we use this local thing we call wire mesh for us to get our ventilation at night, you know, and we open our windows for just to get the breeze and other things. But it's not really easy, Dr. Carlos, in Sierra Leone here. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, dear Raymond, our National Country Director for Sierra Leone, working as hard as you are doing. I would like you, Raymond, to introduce some of the people that are with you at Sierra Leone at this moment, so we have the opportunity to listen to them briefly, a couple of minutes each one, in order that really we know on the field what is going on. Can you help us with us, Raymond? Can you introduce some of them? Go ahead.
Yeah, like I said, I would like to start with the veterinary officer by the name of Mr. Mansour Mohamed Kumara. Is the veterinary officer for Sierra Leone here, and have Mami Sarah, who is the lead for the committee in Sierra Leone here. I have Auntie Mary Jallo, who is the rep for the elder people in Sierra Leone here. I have Mr. Kago here, is from World Vision. I have Mr. Augustine from Women and Youth Empowerment. I have Mr. John F. Philip Kamara from Man Salon. That is an organization. They are for the men in Sierra Leone. They are fighting for the rights of men. I have Mr. David from All Hope is here with us here. So these are the people we have in our midst here.
Excellent, excellent. I would like to listen to them a couple of minutes so they can introduce themselves, so they are part of the team that today we are going to discuss in the next hour and a half all this problem. Can you introduce them, Raymond, briefly, just to introduce themselves, say hello, and put forward some proposal idea?
All right, no problem. I would like to start with the veterinary officer. Yes, can you introduce yourself?
Okay. Good afternoon.
Go ahead.
I'm Marshall from the Livestock Division Veterinary Services.
Excellent.
Yeah,
we can
that
hear
is Mr. Mansour.
Right. Go ahead.
Yeah. I would like again to start with Auntie Sarah from the committee. Yeah, will you introduce yourself, ma?
Go ahead. Excellent, excellent, good, very good, very good.
Okay. Again, and I have the next person by her side here by the name of Auntie Mary Jallo, is representing the elder people in Sierra Leone. Will you introduce yourself, ma?
How are you? I'm Mary Jallo.
Excellent, excellent, very, very well done.
I have here the next side. According to what the constitution in Sierra Leone, they said let's give priority to women. I have the other side there by the name of Sarah E. Kamara, is representing the women in Sierra Leone here again. Will you introduce yourself?
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Sarah, representing the women empowerment in Sierra Leone.
Congratulations, congratulations, Kamala. Really, very, very, very good presentation. So you have been working a lot.
Many of them. They are still remaining about 4 of them, sir. Can I continue to
Sure.
introduce them?
Yes, go ahead.
All right. I also have the medical doctor who represent the medical team in Sierra Leone here by the name of Auntie Khadija. Is not with us, but is online. Maybe
Right.
she's going to
Good
introduce herself.
afternoon.
She's here.
Good
Dr.
afternoon.
Kadio is here.
I'm Dr.
Go ahead, Doctor.
Kabaya, a pediatrician in training.
Good, good. Nice. Welcome, Dr. Kadiatu Kamara. You are participating in this meeting. Many thanks to be with us. Go ahead, Raymond. You have someone else there?
Yes, sir. I have Mr. Kabo here. Mr. Kabo, will you introduce yourself?
Good afternoon. I am Raymond Kabul.
Hello, Kabul. Welcome. Nice that you have been with us. Go ahead, Meg. Do you have someone else?
Yeah, I have Mr. Augustine here. Augustine and Kamara, White Kamara. Will you introduce yourself?
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. My name is Augustine Kamara. I am representing the youth empowerment.
Good, good, good. Excellent.
And I also have Augustine. Okay, your name? Davidson. I also have Davidson by our means here. Mr. Davidson, will you introduce yourself, please?
Well, thank you very much. I'm Mr. Davidson, representing from one of them.
The last.
The last but not the least is Mr. John Philip Kamara. Please, Mr. John Philip Kamara, will you introduce yourself?
Good afternoon, sir. I'm John Philip Kamara. I'm representing Man Salon. We are the
Welcome.
men fighting against violence against women. Thank you so much, sir. Have a nice day.
Thank you to you. Thank you to you, Mr. Phillips. Welcome to the meeting. Well, I congratulate you, my director from Sierra Leone. You have done very good job with the different committees, the physician. That is an expression of really Sierra Leone is very, very much interest on this. I would like then to invite to introduce briefly to Raúl Rojas from Argentina. He is the director for Radio Clima Internacional. Briefly, your presentation. Raúl, ¿te puedes presentar brevemente, Raúl? Solamente un hola para que te conozcan y estés en la reunión. Adelante. Welcome to all of you, says Raúl, from Buenos Aires, Argentina, which we are broadcasting with Radio Clima International. Very interesting statements from people this morning. I'm glad that we can do this activity, and my congratulations to Raymond from Sierra Leone for this work. Then I will invite to Mr. Carlos Velasco, who is with us, who is a very important person to us, also working on extreme heat. Carlos, are you there? Can you introduce yourself briefly? Go ahead, please. Well, Carlos is not there undoubtedly because he is not answering unless he cannot hear us very well. Sarah Sendek, are you there? Can you introduce yourself? Sarah Sendek Kamara, please go ahead. Well, we are having some difficulties, therefore we will start the activity. I call again to Reverend Godfrey via Mukama. Are you, Reverend, with us? Are you in the conference room? Mek Sibanda, Do you know anything about the presence of our director for Africa? Meg, do you know anything about it?
Okay, doctor. I spoke to him 2 days back. He was saying he had challenges with his phone. So, yeah, that was the status from him 2 days back. He told me he couldn't even locate the contacts of the people from his phone. Otherwise, he was surviving by then, but he just cited challenges with his phone.
Well, I talked to him this morning. He entered into the meeting 2 hours before the scheduled time, and I told him that he should be coming at that time. I'm very worried because he's the director for Africa, and we really have few people from Uganda, and that is something that really worries me. Carlos Velasco, the floor is yours. Carlos, la conferencia, el micrófono es tuyo. Si te puedes presentar brevemente, Carlos, bienvenido.
Oh, thank you very much. Alhamdulillah.
That is something that
I am
really worries me.
psychologist. I am
Carlos
living
Velasco,
in Madrid, Spain.
the floor is yours. Carlos, la
I
conferencia, el
was,
micrófono es tuyo. Si te puedes
researching
presentar
the
brevemente,
biomechanical
Carlos,
breathing,
bienvenido.
the natural, correct,
thank you very
and
much.
true of reality. How is the biomechanical breathing the correct way of breathing, our way, natural way? So, because we must to be very clear and clever how we can employ the natural biomechanical breathing to control our mind, but especially the hot or warm of our body in countries or place where the climate is a little bit hot. Okay, so what can I do and do my apportation to is about how to some kind of techniques how to reduce the temperature in a body through the natural biomechanical breathing. This is the way.
Many thanks, Carlos Velasco from Madrid. You have put forward some important view regarding this question of which is the role of the person, which is our personal role in this, in order to really confront heat. We are going to discuss during the day this very important aspect because, you know, Carlos is telling us that we can control the situation of extreme heat with respiratory measures that we can not only do ourselves, but we also can help our family, our fellow workers, our colleagues at school or university. He's telling us that really we need to do something about extreme heat, because if we are only just sat in our homes and our work expecting that we get air conditioning system, or the business patron of our work will put an air conditioner, we will not do much for preserving our lives. So we need to start doing concrete things immediately in order to stop extreme heat. That is something that really I thank to Carlos, because he has put us some ideas about how we can control temperature with our respiratory system. I then invite a new person who I don't know his name, but he's struggling with me in order to have the audio open. My dear friend, you have video. Can you introduce yourself, please, from where you are, so we know who you are? The one that has the phone ITEL A665L. Can you introduce yourself, please, so we know who you are? Hello, my friend. Can you introduce yourself? The one that actually has the video in the screen. We can see a table, but we don't hear you. Can you introduce yourself? Okay, well, we go ahead. Meg, can you help me with this? I mean, probably you know the people who is on the floor. Can you invite them to really participate in the meeting, please?
Yes, Dr. Carlos, maybe there are some invited from Zimbabwe. Maybe they haven't identified themselves. I'm not sure. But as you have asked them to identify themselves, I think it's fair that way, unless if it's not audible on their side. So we expect everyone to identify themselves so that we are in the same space. So I'm sure it could be a technical issue with their volume or so. If not, we request that they identify themselves. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay, Meg, no, I just want you to take the floor also, and we have a dialogue here, because in this International Health Day, we have two lines of thinking, my dear friend. In front of the pyropolitics that is affecting this planet in flame, because really our planet is burning itself due to pyropolitics, because pyropolitics in these days is not only, to negate the facts of science, the precision of sciences that have described how temperature will increase very rapidly in the planet, as I have done the science for the last 10, 15 years. But also the people who don't do much about this, the government of Uganda, the government of Zimbabwe, the government of Sierra Leone, the government of South Africa, the government of Argentina, the government of Pakistan, the government of, Colombia, or the government of Chile, who has signed the Paris Agreement, who are not politically negationists, who don't believe that, climate change is an invent from leftists or communists, but they don't do anything in other ways. So they are not negationists, but they don't do much about protecting people, animals, and vegetables, our water, our soil, our air, from the impacts of extreme heat. What do you think about that, my dear friend from Zimbabwe?
Oh, yes, thank you, Doctor. I think what is currently happening is that maybe the targeting of our policy and also how we identify ourselves with the health delivery system, especially at the country level, and also how we value the efforts that have been prescribed for country strategies. And because at the end of the day, maybe it's an issue of who is being affected by the extreme heat issue, and who has got the capacity to withstand the after effects. For example, the accessibility of a better infrastructure. I remember in one of our deliberations, we were even giving examples of maybe countries like the West. For example, if you take in the United States of America, already they've got structures that speak to extreme heat, the heat ministry, and also other infrastructure. And for them, maybe the question of extreme heat, yes, they may face the issues of flooding, issues of wildfires, but for issues of cooling themselves, like the infrastructure, even the ministry, there are funds that are already being injected, and there is a coordinated effort. Sometimes it's difficult to feel the effects of heat in such an environment. Then when we speak to other vulnerable communities, you find that there is a disparity in terms of comparison and also the level of experience to the same communities. So that's why there is an outcry now to say, even though we have got these instruments or these policies that, or the blueprints that have been there ever since, and also with reference to the previous engagements at governance level, we can even name the issues of the COPs themselves and other spaces where the agenda has been spoken. What really can we tell as tangible efforts, or something that we can say, yes, this is replicable in terms of helping our communities or our rights holders? So even if we speak to our own country strategies, I'm happy that Dr. Carlos, you are probing country approaches, you are probing even the efforts that have been made. Hence the gap now to say we need to act differently. So this is more like an outcry avenue to say we are seeing these challenges, we are seeing the gaps, but how do we move on? And who is responsible? And should we say maybe the government has to come and take over? Who is the person to act now? So these are the issues that makes us to have a clear picture of how we need to intervene. Like the approach we have now, or the space that we have now, it embraces everyone to come on board, especially even those people who even help in this sector. I'm happy the presence of physicians, the presence of the veterinarians, the presence of different stakeholders. This makes it more like a multi-sectoral approach that leaves no one behind. Hence the need for action plan. So thank you, Dr. Carlos.
No, but I know, thank to you, but the question is this, heat is the main vector of climate change today. We know that climate change is being produced by, the extractivist model of society, a society that really was opening big cities. Today, a big part of the humanity of human beings live in big cities. Around 70% of the people lives in big cities. In any part of the world, the United States, Europe, Africa, Asia, Latin America. And we have done these cities destroying nature, destroying water, destroying trees, destroying the environment that really cools our lives. But also, this development has brought the issue of energy. And energy is something which is very, very impacting our life as a type of, we are burning ourselves. Each time that we use fossil fuels, we are burning ourselves. These, fossil fuel components, being petrol, being coke, being gas, really the use of it implies that life, being vegetable, being animal, being human, burns. And, we had a long time work on this from science. Doctors have studied the impact of heat on the life of people. But really, then we influenced the global governance and we got the Paris Agreement. But everything's still the same. The level of increase of temperature is constant, is permanent, Meg. nothing has changed. And civil society representatives, being from the larger organizations, Amnesty International, Greenpeace, go to the COPs, but they don't have any influence. So government signs to work against extreme heat, but we still having extreme heat working on us. So it looks, Meg, that really the cry of Raymond that in Sierra Leone they have many difficulties to face extreme heat. It's global because most of the community organization, the grassroots community organization, don't have air conditioning system, don't have ventilators. They have very ill constructions by home, by work, by school, and they're suffering strongly the impact of extreme heat. This impact not only change their life, but also kills them. And we need to do something about this. But I see that the people of Raymond in Sierra Leone, the people of Mexibanda in Zimbabwe, the people from Argentina, from Carlos, they're all expecting that the government do something about it. But really, I think that we need to change our mind. We need to change the paradigm. We need to start thinking that we, as human beings, as the most intelligent human or entity in the planet, we need to do something about it. We can generate action to confront heat. We cannot accept that our grandfather, grandmother, our just born baby are being affected by extreme heat. We need to protect ourselves. We don't need to continue expecting governments to do something about this. So I just want to ask our friend Meg, what do you think about what is the role of civil society? Which is the role of Meg? Which is the role of Carlos? Which is the role of Raymond from Sierra Leone? Raymond, Meg has told us that we know the difficult, Dr. Carlos here is very, very bad. We have very difficult moment. We don't know what to do. Heat is really killing us. Heat is castigating us. So what I hear in the words of Raymond that he is expecting the government to do something and not helping communities to do something for themselves. What do you think about Meg this? Do you think that communities, we, Meg, Carlos, can do something about extreme heat in our lives?
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Carlos. I will actually make reference to Sierra Leone because to me it's a beautiful reference case when we are speaking about this. I almost speak to Raymond almost every day, and if not twice or so, with issues related to extreme heat and also some local strategies and also some challenges that Sierra Leone is actually facing. But I need to give this clear to the world and also to you, Dr. Carlos, to say, unfortunately, this extreme heat or climate crisis, it came already when there's been so many other issues that has been surrounding human life, animal life, or you term it. As a result of, for example, I'll speak to the references of Raymond in terms of the drought issue, the issue of food, the issue of the health delivery system. Those are the issues that already are existing, and for me, it's not a typical difference from my experience from Zimbabwe. We have communities also. A drought is almost every world over, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, I know the other in the north or in the west, maybe rain could be there, but a drought sometimes comes as a result of even more rainfall. It happens. So here we have been having challenges of enough rainfall during our season. where we expect, because our agriculture, so to say, in most communities in Africa, is still at household level subsistence farming, where you farm for your own community or for your own family instead. So here, and many times we have had communities getting from one dry season to the other as a result of climate change or no enough rainfall for a farming season. And this has exacerbated the issues of hungry communities. And sometimes we have got issues of dry spells and resulting in scarce resources like water. Water has been scarce in other communities. I remember once upon a time, even here in Zimbabwe, we have had a province, so to say, that ran almost for 2 seasons without rainfall, of which is abnormal to us because we expect more than enough rainfall in each given rainfall season. But these are the developments that come as a result of climate change. So meaning that, Dr. Carlos, there are some other needs that, like now we can speak of extreme heat, let's say in Sierra Leone, but there is a hungry stomach that needs to be fed and it can speak for itself. So these are some of the challenges that are already there. It's not that people, the mindset, yes, I think also, sorry to say this, Dr. Carlos, if you remember, initially it also depends, like for example, Zimbabwe, we were colonized by the British government, so to say, and our way of governance, we have been following that, and we prior independence or even after independence, when you go deep dive into our social service system, we used to have some programs which were there to facilitate some health delivery programs, and we are seeing a lot of changes. And worse now, when we are having this funding cut from USAID, we used to have people who were fed by such programs, but they are no longer there. And whose responsibility now to carry on that? Our people are not working. Young people, they are getting out of education, no access to employment. There's a lot of migration. There's a lot of urban to rural to urban migration.
I just going to stop you because if I would ask to the people on the floor, you have said so many things that have made a very mix up. I started asking you a concrete question. What can we do, MEC? What can we do in order to protect MEC and his family from extreme heat? But you mentioned that, the problem of other competitive demands, the lack of food, the lack of water. So you make a big salad and the people get confused. And today in the world, my dear MEC, in the global south, we don't know what is climate change. Many people in the global south think that climate change will come. It will not arrive. But we know that climate change is working with heat. But no one, the big NGOs, the governments don't talk about extreme heat. I can challenge you, there's no government in Africa, except 1 or 2, that really have a policy against extreme heat. They're still talking about climate change, that something will come. And when they do something regarding, they say, the determinant of climate change, which is the stopping fossil fuels. Let us stop petrol, let us stop coke, let's stop gas. And the people get mixed because none of us, apart from having a motor or a car, really, we don't know what means fossil fuels for our lives. So, and when we need to talk about what to do about extreme heat, because extreme heat is affecting every one of us, in the rural areas, in the urban areas, and we need to talk properly. Otherwise, to make salad is to do blah, 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 and the people don't know anything. What we need to do as civil society, we need to put the problem in front of us. Extreme heat comes, I live with my family of 5, 6, 10 people, I need to protect my family. Extreme heat is coming, I'm working in my factory, and extreme heat is affecting our fellow workers, because we need to protect by ourselves our fellow workers. I have my children in school, and the school is admitted to 45 degrees centigrade where our children are studying. We need to do something in the school. We, no government, we, the father of the children who in the school, the worker who is fellow and is working in a factory that is being exposed to extreme heat. And we, in our home, we need to protect our baby, our grandmother, our fellow children. So we need to do something against extreme heat. And if we don't do anything, being in the urban area, being in the rural area, we are part of the problem. Because today people don't know what to do about extreme heat. And that's what we need to talk in this International Health Day. We need to reflection, we need to ask ourselves, what can we do? What can Carlos do about extreme heat? Can we do something? And the response is yes, we can do. We can do many things, even without money to stop the damage of extreme heat in our life, to protect our family, to protect our work, to protect our children in school. If we don't think in that way, that we, being in the cities, being in the rural areas, can do many things, we will not do anything. Meanwhile, heat is killing us, is sickening us, is destroying our animals, destroying our planet. So I think that the problem is very serious. If we don't start doing something ourselves, as communities, as citizens, as civil society, this thing is so serious that governments don't have money, don't have plans, don't have strategies, and this is something that needs an immediate action. So I want to come back to the floor and ask people who want to speak about this. The question is, what can we do about extreme heat? Today, International Health Day, what we as persons can do for our families, for our babies, for our fellow workers, for our schools. Please, if anyone wants to tell us something, I invite you to take the floor. Go ahead, please. Go ahead, please. The floor is yours. Infinix, introduce yourself, please, because we don't know who you are. Go ahead, please. You just put your hand on. Introduce yourself, please.
One thing is that government needs to make policy in relation to this.
You know, we can, my dear friend, we cannot hear you very well. Can you go closer to the microphone, please?
Sarah Kamara from Sierra Leone. One thing we government needs to make policy in regard of this extreme heat. That is to say, community bylaws need to be laid, because when you look around, cutting of trees is rampant, and this encourages extreme heat. Secondly, community people need to engage on tree planting to enable to replace the trees that has been cut. Also, and building of cold rooms. When we do this thing, at least it will it will minimize the extreme heat. Lastly, we need to engage in awareness raising meeting, telling our community people the implications, the hazards, the disadvantages of cutting down these big trees. This is my contribution from Sarah Sende, Camara, Sierra Leone.
Sarah, many thanks for your important contribution. That you have put the right accent on the situation, that we need to do something about it. That is a problem. A few minutes ago, Carlos Velasco told us that also we as human beings can do something on ourselves in order to control heat on our bodies. I will call him later on because he has very interesting teachings to help us to resolve the problem of extreme heat at our level. I will invite now to our brother Reverend Geoffrey Bayamukama from Uganda, who arrived a little bit late, but at least he arrived. Other people don't arrive. Hello, Geoffrey, how are you? Nice to hear from you.
Thank you so much, our Managing Director, Extreme Heat. I'm very grateful to be here into this forum. Thank you for hosting us. And this is an important meeting that is discussing issues concerning our life on the planet. I am called Reverend Godfrey Byamukama from Uganda and the Director for Extreme Heat Africa. Thank you so much for this engagement, because extreme heat is a great concern to the life in the space, life on the ground and beneath the surface. And so when we talk about extreme heat, we look at what is happening today globally in the whole world, and we see the extinction of life, both animal and plant. And we say we must do something because we are solely responsible for our communities. We have vulnerable communities that are facing the effects of extreme heat. For example, in Uganda, there are some cases in Kasese where they have been admitting some sick people who are vulnerable to the effects of heat. And so in such places where there is too much hotness, like Karamoja, like Sudan, like Ghana, and other parts of Africa, we need to revolutionize some policies that can as well as combat the effects and losses and damages caused by extreme heat, because heat is becoming too much because of man's impact on environment. I submit. Thank you so much, Director.
Many thanks, dear Reverend Geoffrey from Uganda. The problem, as been said by our brother Simon, our brother Geoffrey, and our sister Sarah, is very serious. But we need to start from the beginning. Here, people don't know the real temperature in which they are living. We believe in which the temperature is being broadcast by radio, television. We have meteorological services that say today in Argentina, on Buenos Aires, we have 32 degrees centigrade. And the papers say that. And that temperature is not the real, because in the place where I am, while the newspaper or the television says we are living with 32 degrees centigrade, in the place where I am, I'm facing with my family 52 degrees centigrade, a temperature which is lethal for the life of the people who are not prepared. So the first thing that we need to do is to know the temperature at which we are living in the place where we are. Not the temperature that is telling us the newspaper or the governments. We need to know which is the temperature we have at the place where we are staying, working, living, studying. And in order to know that, we only need to have a thermometer, something that measures the temperature, in order that we know which temperature that we have. As when we are having fever, we put a thermometer to our son, to our mother, to our brother. We need to know the temperature in which we are living. We need to have a thermometer at our home. We need to have a thermometer at our school to see each one of the classrooms in which we are depositing, living our children. We need to know which is the temperature in the place we are working, our office, at our place of work. If we don't do that temperature, we cannot do anything. We will not know which is the level of risk that we are exposed to. So we need to know that very urgently. So the task number one that we need to do in order to confront extreme heat wherever we are, in Africa, in Uganda, in South Africa, in Thailand, in Buenos Aires, is to have a thermometer in order to protect the life of the people we are living, working, studying with. And when we have the thermometer, which is not a very large cost, today we can get thermometers for $1, even less. Maybe others are more costly, but we need to have a simple thermometer that really can help us to measure the temperature at our home, at our office, at our work, at our school. Once we know that, we can measure the temperature with the same thermometer of all the rooms in our home, of all the classrooms in our schools, of all our offices in our, and we need to act on that. So when we know the temperature that we are exposed, we will be able to act to stop heat, either protecting with certain methods, which Carlos Velasco told us something just a few minutes ago, or trying to bring our people to the hospital, or that a physician will attend them in order to confront the problem of heat. Because heat is a silent killer. Heat makes you sick. And if you are not prepared to resist the aggression of heat, you are exposed to die. And this is happening today. As many governments know that heat is killing hundreds of thousands of people in the world every year, no one knows about it. So, in the country of Reverend Godfrey, the Ugandan country doesn't publish the number of deaths due to extreme heat. In Argentina, the government doesn't publish the data that shows how many thousands of Argentinians are being killed by extreme heat. And the people who are being killed are the most vulnerable, are the older people, the just born baby, the people with chronic disease. We need to know this. But before the governments that doesn't publish this data is pointing out to us that we need to do something about this. We as citizens. So the first thing I insist, and then I give the word to the people that like to talk or make some comments, such as Mexivan, that we need to know the temperature that we are living with. And if the government tell us, no, we need to stop fossil fuels, no, we need to stop extractive model, no, we need to stop, commercializing gas. We need to tell the government that the first thing that we need to do is protect our life from extreme heat. Because even if we stop fossil fuel products in the market today, for the next 30 years, heat will stay with us, will not go. So the message of moving everyone, mobilizing all of us to stop fossil fuel is good, but it's not effective and will not end with proper results. You know which are the proper results? that we, all of us, still alive. But because if we put in work, all of us, to stop fossil fuels, many thousands of people will still die. So those organizations that are working, making our heads think that everything will stop when petrol, coke, and gas doesn't enter anymore in our markets, the thing will change, is not true. For the next 30 years, people will still die because heat will not go, because already the planet is being overheated by the gases that exist, and they will not go before 30 years. So, my dear Mexibanda, you, when I met you a few months ago, you were a very relevant person to tell us that we should stop fossil fuels. What do you think about this?
Yes, Dr. Carlos, you are very correct, doctor. I think the simplest response to you is that we have to act now. And meaning to act now, the issue of stopping fossil fuel, I think like you are putting it, it could be 30 years and beyond. No one knows actually. And also looking at the current scramble for fossil fuel resources, which are even emanating, there is a huge investment in fossil fuel for now. And everyone is more like a millionaire or billionaire industry. And it's a so lucrative industry, even to the big giants. So for me, predicting anytime soon of ending fossil fuel than focusing on immediate action on how to address extreme heat, I would opt for the second option. So, Dr. Carlos, I think the thing is we need to act now. And acting now is to address the issue of extreme heat. I'm happy that we are zeroing this to even at individual level to say, what could make do? Which is a very, very big question for me. But Dr. Carlos, I think the only angle where I'm coming from, I'm always making reference to our dear brother Raymond, who is the national coordinator for Sierra Leone, to say, yes, as much as I am affected by heat, I'm hungry. So how do I address the issue of extreme heat? I'm hungry, I'm sick, like we are saying, because of extreme heat. I'm also hungry because of extreme heat as a result of the drought that was there in the previous farming season. I'm a poor farmer. What do I do? These are my challenges now, Dr. Carlos. We are on the same page, but I'm saying there are also other needs that are coming as a result of this. And these are the issues which are disempowering me as MEC to also do my efforts because I'm hungry. How do I do my own efforts when I'm hungry? So I think these are some of the issues that we need to probe. That's why people think aloud to say, maybe my government would do something. But at least I think the message is clear today to say what we want is we need to start from our own responsibility, because at times it is our own obligation. Like the issue of having a simple temperature, a simple initiative of planting a tree, a simple initiative of planting some vegetation around my home or my household. So these are some of the strategies and some very beautiful initiatives, Dr. Carlos and the rest. So yeah, that's what I would say, Dr. Carlos. The message is clear, but sometimes there's some incapacitation that comes on the way, especially for me as an individual to act now. Thank you.
Many thanks, dear Meg. Many thanks for your clear statement. Yes, you say that you are hungry, but also today, International Health Day, I want you to help us with this message. We should tell the world that who are very angry at doctors, because we as doctors know what is causing extreme heat in our life. Extreme heat is killing thousands of people, but rather the messages of government, the message of global governance is to continue doing to stop in the market fossil fuels, but we need to preserve our life. Because when we do that, when I think what is going on now at this same moment today, the beginning of springtime in the United States, the municipality of Los Angeles has put a lot of money to protect people from extreme heat. The municipality of Los Angeles in the United States, even having a president who is a negationist as Mr. Trump, is preparing doctors, Los Angeles doctors, to confront the damage of extreme heat. The municipality of Los Angeles, as many other municipalities in the United States, as many other municipalities in Europe, as many other municipalities in China, in Japan, in Canada, are preparing for extreme heat. While when springtime comes to the countries of the global south, no municipality is doing anything, a fucking thing about extreme heat. They're still talking about, let us reduce the level of petrol, coke, and gas used by us. Rubbish. We need to protect our life. We need to protect our life. That is the most important thing. So today, International Health Day, we need to tell the world that doctors, physicians are very angry because no one is doing anything about extreme heat. There are only messages for market, only messages for people making billions, but letting dying people at the community level dying by billions. Dr. Kadiatu Kamara, the floor is yours. We hear you. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon. I'm in the hospital and will be leaving shortly, so I want to say something. So listening to everybody else that has spoken, I want to say like going forward or the solution or what we should do in combating the heat wave. I will now summarize it in sort of two ways. There are what the effect and the cause. As a physician, we see more of the effects of the heat or the global warming, global change. We face more of the effects, in which most of these effects have been mentioned: diseases, malnutrition, all of these we face in the hospital. And also another point is targeting the cause for the heat wave. As you said just now, what you were asking what we should do as a person in helping with heat wave. Heat wave is kind of say a man-made disaster. So I think it can be worked in another two ways, in which we as a person, there should be sensitization. Sensitization in us knowing what exactly is heat wave, and for us to know that our activity leads to these problems. And so for us to know what to do, how to minimize whatever we do, like cutting of trees, as another speaker mentioned, cutting of trees, all of these lead to the disaster. So what we should do and what we should not do. And also help with policies, advocacy. We have been hearing a lot of it, but like you said, not much has been done. So policies and implementation of these policies, advocacies should go on. So that is my take.
Many thanks, Dr. Kadiatu Kamara, for your statement. Very, very clear also the position of Dr. Kadiatu. I gave the floor to Mr. Mek Sibanda. Go ahead, Mek.
Okay, thank you, the previous speaker, Doctor. I think really we are in the same.
Hello, Mek. Can you go ahead, please?
Hello.
Hello. Yes, go ahead, please.
Hello?
Your voice went off. Hello, Mek. Go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I was saying what the doctor colleague just mentioned now, or just it's almost a reality what is ongoing in our communities. I would like to comment on the issue of policy formulation and also policies. When we are now doing advocacy, I think world over or even at country level, there's been so many policies that have been formulated, but the approach has been really negative in terms of implementation. Many times these policies, they are put on hold, they are put on shelves. So our advocacy lens, I think we need to have a revolutionized approach to our advocacy strategies so that they can really speak to action rather than advocating for policies formulation. Once the policies are in place, I think there should be a way of evaluation, a way of taking stock, a way of assessing whether the same policies are put into action. Because I appreciate the issue of policy, but how many policies, even if I think within our own government here, there's been many policies that have been formulated, that we have even launched and celebrated. But when it comes to implementation, I'm sure there's a big deficit there. So the issue of advocacy, I think we need to have a better revolutionized approach to advocacy. Thank you, Doctor, for your insightful contribution. Over to you, Dr. Carlos.
Thanks very much, Mac. I just want to, we are talking in terms of, role of citizens, of communities to confront extreme heat. When we talk about policies, when we talk about strategies, these are not languages that really people understand. When we are at our home with our family, when we are at our work with our fellow workers, when we are at school with our children that is going to school in order to face the future, we need to think in them. So the most important thing is that we need to know the temperature in which we are, because today the world has expropriated the knowledge of temperature in our lives. Today, people don't measure temperature at their homes, don't measure temperature at their work, don't measure temperature at their school. We need to recover that. Every head of family, women or men, every children that really is being trained by their parents, every worker should measure temperature in the place where they live, where they work, where they study. And we need to do that in a very simple way. We don't need to have big investment. Now, if many of you, and I wanted to ask Raymond, I would like to hear from Raymond, if to give the message to people living in Sierra Leone, in the cities of Sierra Leone, or living in the rural areas, that we advise them to buy a thermometer in order to know the temperature that they have at their home. This is something impossible? Are we expecting that the government of Sierra Leone give us thermometers to every family, to every workplace? I want to know, Raymond, what do you think about this? Because, you know, in Argentina, politics, even politics of the Minister of Health, has trained people, poor, vulnerable, that they can only move when they, as minister, the politics, they give as a present an instrument. Maybe many people say, well, if the government give us the thermometer, we take the temperature of our home. I say, that is a mistake. If you live at your home, you will not expect the government brings you a sandwich or, food to eat your family. You go out and get the food in order to protect your family. And you need to do the same with thermometer. If you don't have the temperature in which you live, you will be committing a problem with your life. What do you think about that, Raymond? Is Raymond with us? Go ahead,
yes,
Raymond.
sir. It is not easy really for the government to supply thermometer to each parent or to each office or household. It's not easy, right? And even some of these humanitarian organizations, as I told you the early time, we do not have any organization that have started this kind of project talking on extreme heats. You know, the last time I gave you the country director for extreme heat, and she's on the governmental department. You get what she said. They have started doing some building of cool rooms and planting some tree in Freetown, the city of Sierra Leone. Not all over Freetown, in fact, but part of Freetown. Though Sierra Leone is very large, and Freetown is the capital city for Sierra Leone. So government is not doing anything concerning extreme heat in Sierra Leone. Anything. So we really like some of these organizations to come in to fight against this extreme heat in Sierra Leone. Not only the human being, but also the animals. You know, the last time we talked on these bats, and I talked to the veterinary officer. According to what he told me, he said the bats are dying through this extreme heat. So for now, he's with us. I don't know if you can allow me for him to say something about that particular issue that I talk about, the death of these bats. So I don't know if you can allow me for him to say something about that.
Briefly, yes, she can take the floor. He can take the floor. Go ahead, please.
All right, sir. Mr. Mansu, you're highly welcome, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, colleagues, and good afternoon, Dr. CALOR. I'm the veterinary officer. As I'm talking, we are.
Hello.
Okay, hello. Good afternoon, colleagues.
Hello, how are you?
Good afternoon. As I'm talking, we are facing so many challenges concerning the animals, the birds. The last time we had some projects, which is Metabiota, they came here in Benadugu. We went to the field, we collect samples from the birds. They take it to the laboratory in Makeni to check what is the sickness or the disease that is affecting the birds that can transfer to human. So we have done that before this time. But presently, as I'm talking, a few weeks back, we went to a community where we do some recharge, but automatically we see so many bats dying in the floor. So we try to see what is the cause. But this extreme heat is the problem because all bats are exposed. You know, normally bats, they live where the big trees are there, and the caves, the bats normally live where the cave is and big trees, they hang there. But for now, in Sierra Leone, most of these big trees have been cutting down for timber logging and even coal burning because of no employment and so many other things. So people are facing so many challenges because of this extreme heat. We are cutting down trees every day. This timber logging is the problem because for we the northeast, we have all the timber logging has been done in the north. So that is why the extreme heat is affecting us. Even the animals, they go the small ruminant and the large ruminant. Before dry, even the rainy season, water get dry, where the water, before this time, the water will be in the community for throughout the dry and the rainy season. But for now, automatically, before the rain ends, the water will go down the water table. As the dries approach, automatically you will not find any water. So the animals are walking far distance to go and search for water. So that almost exposes the animal to predators and pests and other things. So this extreme heat is affecting our animals because most of our colleagues today that they are not talking about animals. Animals and humans, we are living together. They are our fields, so we live from them. So this is the challenge we are facing in Sierra Leone for now. The extreme heat is so much. Even as you can see me now, I'm sitting, I have some papers with me for me to have some ventilation of air so that I will be okay.
Many thanks, dear friend, for your statement regarding animal health. And of course, International Health Day is not only about human health, but also about the health of animals, and of course, the health of plants, and of course, the health of water, and of course, the health of air, and of course, the health of soil. Because all these areas have been affected by extreme heat. But this one priority. We human beings need to protect ourselves from the damages of extreme heat. Because you know what I'm telling you, while Los Angeles, United States, Canada, Europe are starting to implement plans to protect their life, the most vulnerable people in Los Angeles, the most vulnerable people in Madrid, the most vulnerable people in London are being protected from extreme heat. But in the global south, nothing. They die. Yeah. And on top of that, data on this death are not published. So if you have Madrid have a statistical system by which the pressure of citizens have produced that every hour during summertime, springtime, the government takes measure of the number of people that dies every hour due to heat waves. Why shouldn't we have the same right that Spain in Zimbabwe, in Argentina, in Uganda, in Sierra Leone? Why are we different human beings? Why we should accept this? And this happened because we as citizens are not taking the problem in our hands. If we get a thermometer, we start protecting our people's life. As you have a car, you use a belt, a safety belt for driving the car. You need to do the same. The safety belt against extreme heat is to have a thermometer at home, to have a thermometer at work, to have a thermometer at school. We measure the most hot environments, rooms at our home, at our office, at our schools. And the people who are vulnerable, we put in the cooler rooms at our home. We put in the areas that are not hot. We don't expose them to extreme heat. And then we train them in which are the alarm symptoms when they start facing complications, being this a diabetic person, being a cardiovascular patient, being a mental health problem, being a disabled. We prepare them on alarm symptoms. And when these alarm symptoms arrive, we bring them to a doctor. We protect them. So it's not only this what, you know, our countries are used to do. They listen each time there's going to be a very hot day, radio, television sets, newspaper say, today there will be a lot of heat in our city. Please drink a lot of water. Please don't go out. These are not good statements. They don't protect anything because the temperature is very different in some part of the city or the rural area. The parts of the city in which the poorest people are living in very bad housing, in very bad condition, because they don't. These are the people who are going to die. So what is happening today in the global south is these governments, our government are, you know, doing pyropolitics, the politics of heat. They don't care if our people die. So the time has arrived in which the poorer people, the most vulnerable people, we need to start doing something about protecting ourselves from extreme heat. So we need to do very urgently, looking the heat at our place of work and study. And secondly, we need to do what the colleague, you know, the doctor told us just now, and also Sarah, and also another person, and Meg, and are telling us we need to look at our environment. For the short, immediate action, we need to take temperature and protect our people from extreme heat. Secondly, when we have the thermometer, we know which are the hottest places in our home, in our school, in our work. Then we are aware, we are alert of the appearance of alarm symptoms in our grandmother, in our just born baby, to bring them to hospital, to a doctor. Then we will be protecting our people. That is for the immediate action. Today, when you leave this meeting, please go to buy a thermometer. And if there's no a thermometer near your home, tell us, and we try to see how we can make possible that you get a thermometer, because we need to know the temperature in which we are exposed to. Secondly, in order to look for the medium run, we need to go out to the door, entrance door of our home. We need to look through a window. How many trees surround our home? How many trees surround our workplace? How many trees surround our school where we have our children? If we have only 3 big trees near your home, near your school, near your home, our workplace, then these 3 large trees will protect, because they will be cooling our home, our workplace, our school. Because we need to apply the rule we call 3-30-300. The number 3 is to have 3 trees, big trees, near the place where we are, being home, school, work. Then the number 30, we need to look at our home, our garden, our kitchen, our living room. We need to put 30% of those rooms with green. We need to put flowers, we need to put plants, interior plants. That will humidify the environment and will make fresher, cooler this environment. They will help a lot. 30% of the surface of our home should be green, plants, flowers. And then 300. So three trees immediately, no more than 4 or 5 meters from our home. 30% of our environment green. And then 300. We need to have at 300 meters, 5 minutes walk, a large park. This is the rule 3-30-300. This 3-30-300 will help us for the future, because the future is very serious in terms of extreme heat. Please bear in mind what I'm telling you. The heat will increase tremendously in your life. Whether you are in Africa, in Latin America, in Asia, in Europe, heat will kill you. Heat will kill you. If you don't do anything about it, you will allow heat to kill you. So Meg Sibanda asked for the floor. Meg, you asked just now for the floor. Go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Carlos, for these great insights to the subject. I'm making reference to your act now, statement, or what we need to act now or do now. Yes, I wouldn't want to use the word assumption, because at times it may get wrongly. What I'm trying to say here is, according to action or acting now, I'm always thinking, as a house here, we need to think about our own community systems strengthening, so that we can enhance this subject. Especially, Dr. Carlos, you were saying, how do we make our communities aware of the subject? Even in climate change or climate crisis, some communities don't know about it. Then this also speaks to our initial development during the month of action, where we were envisaging that in this initiative, it would be a brilliant idea to come up with a manual that could even speak to issues of how communities or as an individual, how one can get prepared, factoring in the issues of the thermometer itself, the 330 degrees concept. I think these are things that our communities should know. Hence, the need for community systems strengthening or community dialogue or meetings that could facilitate the information dissemination, perhaps in local languages, especially to hard to reach areas, and which can be relevant to that same community. Yes, as much as I appreciate the insight or the experience of the West or Europe, where they already have preparedness strategies like Los Angeles, you put it, Madrid or London. But what can we do also here? We need to also see how we can enforce that to be a reality here in the Global South. Also, I remember with our health professionals, like if someone is sick with a heat wave, most of the time we rush them to hospital, but they will find a nurse, they will find a doctor. Is the same cadre capacitated to examine or to take care of such a patient who is hit by a heat wave? So we also need to speak to the infrastructure locally. Do we have the cool places where if someone is hit by? So these are the issues that we need to also speak to ourselves. And finally, on the issue of availability of a thermometer, Dr. Carlos, I need to be honest with you. We have got some households or communities or individuals who live with less than $1, meaning that it's impossible to even get that thermometer. So if there is such a leeway or a way of getting access to thermometers, together with a package of a manual of edutainment or awareness, it could be really helpful in this cause. Thank you, Dr. Carlos.
Thank you very much, Meg. You make very clear statement in which really you pointed out some areas that we haven't touched at this meeting. And I mentioned you just to revise, I understand the question of that to have a thermometer is costly to many families. I understand that also if we think that to have a thermometer is very costly, what will be the thinking in order that this family to have air conditioning system, which is the only thing that really will protect you immediately from 1 minute to the other from extreme heat. So we need to be clear about this, Meg. I know that to live with $1 is unhuman. It's clear that the issue of extreme heat in Africa is a question of human rights. But we need to speak very clearly. I mentioned to you that in this International Health Day, there's one slogan that we need to adopt, and I insist that I call you to tell us if that is correct. In this International Health Day, we need to say, we physicians are very angry because governments are not confronting, acting against extreme heat. Physicians from Zimbabwe, physicians from Sierra Leone, physicians from Argentina. But we need to be clear, physicians are angry, very angry. And I agree with you that really to tell an African family to buy a thermometer is somehow, I would say, very artificial. But when you send your children to your school, you make, even you are very poor, but you send your children to school, you need to really put clear that the school should have a thermometer. Because with one thermometer that costs less than $1, you can save the quality of life, the capacity to learn, to make our children productive, in order to have a good environment and protect them, to measure the temperature of school. The same with work. So thermometer is a very important issue. I understand that also if you don't incorporate this technology in your life, as you have incorporated to have a toilet, because you can tell me, Dr. Carlos, to have a toilet in Africa, in Zimbabwe, is very expensive. But being very expensive, most of the houses that are in Zimbabwe, except the shanty towns, do have toilets. But they have been very expensive, but something has done. We need to take thermometers in our life because that will help to prevent death and illness. Because if you get sick because of extreme heat, you will spend a lot of money, much more money than to spend $1 for a thermometer. And you have the toilet today at your home because you know that will bring, safety from infections to your home. So we need to increase our level of commitment. If we have a thermometer at our home, we are protecting the life, the health, the quality of life of our family. If we have a thermometer at school, we are protecting the life of our children. If we have a thermometer at our work, we are protecting the life and quality of life of our fellow workers. So let us think in this way, please. Then with this, and we are having the last 15 minutes of work for this seminar. If we know how to use a thermometer at our home, at our work, then we can take the temperature, we can measure the temperature in our neighborhood. Because we need to take the temperature in our neighborhood. Today, the world should know that to confront heat, in order to avoid people dying and getting sick, we need to have a meteorological center, one square kilometer. And I know that is very costly. So what we need to do, we as citizens, we need to measure the temperature in our neighborhoods, 10, 15, 20 blocks, to know which is the temperatures, the hotter places in our neighborhood. And then we need to open a cooling center. That would be a church. And then I will ask you, my dear friend Meg, you are a Catholic. How many Catholic churches have developed the concept of cooling center? Because today, in Europe, in Asia, in North America, many churches are being transformed in the night in cooling centers. Go very poor people, those who have not have a ventilator, those that cannot afford to have air conditioning, they go to church because a church is a cooling center. How many cooling centers do you have in Zimbabwe, Meg? Can you tell us? In church, at church.
Oh. That's a beautiful question, Dr. Carlos. Yeah. Yeah, as much as yeah, I'm being caught up. Yeah, of course, I'm not a spokesperson for the church, but I'm talking my reality from the parish where I go to. Yeah, we have had really quite challenges. What we have done as a parish, we have tried to enhance our cooling system through putting fans. But it's not enough because you need our parish where I go to, we are almost 1,000 plus in each given Sunday, and we always have one mass at 8 o'clock. Sometimes,
sorry. Your church, your parish church, is open at night. Because most of the people die, particularly the vulnerable people, the people who are sick, that almost coincide with being elderly. 90% of the people dying in the world today are elderly people because these people are sick, but also taking medicines that make them vulnerable to the action of extreme, and they die at home at night. We know that if a church opens because it's not being used during the night, to receive poor people to stay at church 1, 2, 3 hours while the heat is going out, and they can return back home. So this is a cooling center.
Yeah, maybe Dr. Carlos, yes, I really buy that idea. Maybe something to worth a trial. Most of the cases, maybe people haven't known that, this is a new subject at all. Like you are saying, Dr. Carlos, I think we need to bring this to the attention of even the authorities to take advantage of the locally available infrastructure rather than thinking big to say, where do we find the money? But now we know if there is a heat wave, and if we educate our people to take opportunity for the current existing infrastructure, that would be really a good tool. And that's what we need, actually. This is part of our capacity development. And it also speaks to, say, act now. We are not even expecting a government to give us that opportunity. It's just a local arrangement. So, Dr. Carlos, yes, I confirm we don't have such infrastructure now as church where we term it a cooling system. But I'm buying in this idea of using the local church as such a facility. Yeah.
Thanks very much, Meg. I will go then to our dear brother Geoffrey Biamukama from Uganda. Dear brother Geoffrey, are there any church from the Anglican Church being a cooling center? Is any church in Uganda being a cooling center in order to protect very poor people who have no ventilator, who are suffering extreme heat at night, particular elderly people, particular just born baby?
Thank you so much, our brother, Dr. Carlos. I want to tell you that currently we don't have any church or any place where there is cooling center for such prevention of people who have the effects of extreme heat. We don't have it anywhere here, and I guess also in Africa, there could be rare in many places. So it is an urgency that we must undertake, because if we don't look at all the circles and all the opportunities where we can combat the dangers and the effects of extreme heat, then our presence today in the world will have no impact. So I pray that we shall have this initiative also in everywhere in the whole world. We want to attack the whole world and cause the whole world to know that extreme heat is one of the dangerous things that many countries have neglected, yet very sensitive for human life.
Many thanks, dear brother Reverend Geoffrey from Uganda. As always, your works are very moving. And I go now in the last 8 minutes. We can go because we had then the Spanish speaking meeting. I want to go back to our friend Raymond. How are you going? Sorry, Geoffrey. Go ahead, please. You want to say something else.
I wanted to summarize. Today we had an important activity in the whole diocese in Kanungu district, southwestern Uganda, where we have different competitions in all schools and institutions of the Diocese of Chinchizi, and we had engaged all children and set them to talk about environment and the dangers, and so they were able to bring out issues concerning extreme heat and the dangers of environmental destruction. And so I have posted a number of videos. They need interpretations. I want to thank the Bishop of the Diocese of Chinchizi and the schools that participated. They have brought the real issues about the extreme heat and how important the world should engage in this important issue.
Congratulations, my dear brother Reverend Geoffrey, for these important activities I know that you have led there in Uganda. It's very good. I congratulate you for this effort, particularly if children are involved. I come back to Raymond in the last 5 minutes. Raymond, how do you feel the meeting of today in this International Health Day? Do you think that the community that is surrounding you have learned something? They have opened their minds? They understand that we need to take the problem of extreme heat in our hands? Raymond, can you tell us, can you invite some people to tell us how they felt or the meeting went?
Well, the meeting for today is really good, and we have know the problems and how to tackle it. Since extreme heat is killing slowly and it's affecting both human and animal, and we have know about it. So all what I'm trying to say, we have to make it fast how to tackle it. So for not to be extend to another areas or to another way that it can destroy a lot of lives. I would like to invite Mr. John Philip Camara to say something about this wonderful meeting today.
Excellent. Go ahead, Philip. Go ahead, Joe Phillips.
Yes, sir. This is a very, very important topic today that we have just listened. Now people are suffering, animals are dying, and the situation is getting worse. So the only thing we can do is for us to find a way how we can replace these trees that they have cut already. Now, even simple ventilation you cannot even feel it now. All what you can feel is heat, heat, heat. And the sun is so hot, terrible, so hot. So human beings as well as animals are suffering. Suffering, so suffering, we are suffering. So we try to have a solution for the planting of the trees that will help us a lot. It's really terrible. It's very terrible. No ventilation. Even when you go to bed, you have to lie down naked because of the ventilation. Because the place is so hot. And for the day you drink more than how many dozens of gallons of water. Because the air condition is so hot. You see? And you see even the kids, they are unable to wear shirts and all that, you see. They're almost naked. Because the situation is so hot, you see, and heat all over their body. So
many thanks, Joe Philip, for the clear statement. Many thanks for your clear statement, Mr. Philip.
Oh, you're welcome, sir.
Okay, Raymond. Raymond, I type that you are happy with the meeting so far. I want to remind you that next Monday, the 14th of April, we will talk about animal health and extreme heat. We talk about the dying of bats. You know, bats are dying by thousands in the world. This is, the canary on the mine. You know that the miners, in order to avoid explosion, used to have a canary in the mine. When the canary dies, they run away from the mine because an explosion is going to take place. So today, bats for us are advising us that something very serious coming, and we need to look at the health of bats. Why there are many of them by next Monday, again at 12 o'clock Argentinian time, we will talk for 2 hours with veterinarians about what is the role of bats dying and what that implies for human beings. So I will just invite for the closing to Mr. Raymond, then Mr. Mr. Reverend Godfrey, and then Mexibanda to close the meeting. Raymond, your closing. You have brought a large delegation from Sierra Leone to the meeting. Can you just close with a couple of minutes or 1 minute result for you? Do you feel okay? Everything has been going okay? Go ahead, Raymond.
And
Hello?
Here. Are you getting me, sir?
For your closing.
Yeah. I said I want to thank those who have taken part on this wonderful meeting. I really want to appreciate them because they have left their various organizations to attend to see that this meeting have been successfully be held. And we pray that we are going to find a solution how to tackle these particular problems for Sierra Leone. So I want to thank all of us, and even to you, Dr. Carlos, I want to appreciate you, so that we pray that we continue and to find a solution to fight against this climate change in Sierra Leone here. I want to appreciate all of you. Thank you, sir.
Many thanks. A big clap for our friend Raymond, to the delegation that he brought to our workshop, International Health Day. Our congratulations, my dear friend Raymond. Reverend Godfrey, Brother Godfrey, your closing, how you feel about it? Or even you arrive a little bit late, you are with us.
Yeah, thank you so much, Doctor. Through you, I would like to appreciate the work that you are doing internationally in holding us to this meeting and discussing the important issues surrounding extreme heat in Africa and the global at large. Thank you for your vision, and thank you for your mission and the objectives of bringing us together to tackle about the issues that threaten man. Through you, our doctor, I would like to recommend and commend the work being done by Max Banda, the Director of International Relations for Extreme Heat. I want to thank you and appraise you because of the work that you are doing. However, I want us to agree that we should have some stages of this program of extreme heat, so that we know that we are handling this program at a certain levels, so that we reach at the implementation stage within a specified time. That is my submission, Doctor.
Many thanks for your presentation, your closing, and your contribution with this fantastic work with children that you have done this morning in Uganda. I want to give a big clap for our brother Reverend Godfrey there in Uganda. Many thanks for your presence and your contribution. And then I invite for the closing to our Director for International Relations and Partnerships, Mek Sibanda, just returning from his holidays for 10 days. Go ahead, Mek.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, thank you so much, Dr. Carlos. Yes, my boss, I'm shivering to hear that. Maybe it's on a good note. Yeah. I must salute Raymond for your tremendous work and efforts, especially for the turnout of your participants. And this is really commendable. And we always think about Sierra Leone, and it gives us more attention, and we appreciate everyone from Sierra Leone. Your insights and your input feel invaluable to this space, and we appreciate. Thank you so much. Back to our regional director, Dr. Godfrey. Yes, my brother, we are very, very happy to hear about the achievements and also the ongoing action. Yes, I'm really taking note of your concern, especially on local action. This is really speaking to all of us here, but I must acknowledge even our insight from Dr. Carlos to say the legal actions that we do, especially considering the 300 to 330 degree concept, as well the thermometer initiative. I think those are the smallest key things that we can do. Also, while we think of local actions, which I know is a concern, especially from the already momentum gained on ground, especially with the countries where we did the month of action. I'm sure, Dr. Carlos, we are together as well, Raymond, and our dear brother Godfrey. Yes, you have really spoken using the lens of the Africa region in terms of local action. So, Dr. Carlos, I'm really, really humbled to be part of this initiative using my global lens as the Director of International Relations. I think we have had a feel of different country initiatives, country inspirations, challenges, you name it. So the call now is to say, as a house, how do we move on, and what actions should we take? So thank you so much during this wonderful day, and we are proud of getting into this space. Lastly, from Zimbabwe, we had Dr. Nkomo joining us. Of course, she kept silent because she was also on another assignment, but she was following through. So thank you so much, everyone, and feel humbled to be in this initiative. And Dr. Carlos, we are humbled to be associated with you and this great initiative. Thank you. Over to you.
Many thanks, dear Mek Sibanda from Bulayo in Zimbabwe, Director for International Relations and Partnerships. I give you the thanks to all of you during these last 2 hours and a half discussing the role of citizens to confront extreme heat. I just finalized to insist in this, that we need to take the problem in our hands. We need to take the problem as heads of our families, as very committed work person with our work fellows, and also looking after the health of our children to confront extreme heat at their school. So we need to do those actions without waiting what the government can give us and can support us. We need to act urgently, because tonight people are going to die, those are exposed to extreme heat. If we start doing things immediately, we will be saving, protecting, preventing death and sickness. So coming back to the proposal of Mek Sibanda, I can tell you that on International Day of Earth, coming by the end of April, we will publish this manual, this guide that you are calling on, and also we are going to put forward the proposal for communities being organized themselves in order to protect them from extreme heat. So many thanks to all of you. I give the closing, for this English-speaking seminar for the planet, and I invite you to join us in 10 minutes, the starting of the Spanish seminar to take place at the Spanish-speaking world from 11:15 Argentinian times, and we will work them for the next 2 hours. So those of you who speak Spanish, please accompany us, because this experience of the seminar that we just are finalizing will be very important to bring into the Spanish-speaking seminar. Raúl Rojas, are you okay? ¿Te parecieron bien las deliberaciones? Are you okay with Radio Clima Internacional? Raúl, can you give your closing, please, as director for Radio Clima International? Many thanks to you. Many thanks to you. We close the meeting, and I'm asking you to wait 10 minutes. We're starting in exactly 10 minutes the work of the Spanish-speaking seminar on extreme heat on the International Health Day. Vamos a comenzar en exactamente 10 minutos el seminario en español del Día Internacional de la Salud para discutir el papel de las comunidades y de los médicos ante la cuestión del calor extremo. Muchas gracias por todo. Nos vemos en 10 minutos. Hasta luego.